This stretch is going to stretch the mid-thoracic and the ribs here. We're going to place our hands interlocked behind the neck here. And then instead of flaring the rib cage forward, extending through the low back, we're going to keep the core nice and tight and try and drive the sternum forward, the upper chest part here as you do this stretch. So we're here and we just drive the elbows up and drive the sternum forward. Now, if you feel a stretch in the shoulders, that's not the intended stretch. We're really trying to stretch the mid-back or the ribs here. And there are a few ways that you can do this. You can experiment. Maybe you find one that gives a better stretch for the mid-back instead of shoulders. So this is the standing or seated one. The other variation is either a kneeling or a seated position with a table or surface in front of you. So in a kneeling position, we lean forward here and drive the sternum forward. And remember that we're keeping our elbows tucked in. Our elbows are not out to the side here. Otherwise, we'll just get a pec stretch and not the intended stretch. You can also do the same thing. If you just imagine bringing this table up in a seated position, doing the same thing here. Or you can do this up against a wall where you place your elbows against the wall here. Again, driving the sternum forward, not the bottom of the rib cage, and sliding the elbows up the wall like this. Now, if you get symptoms over here in the ribs, make sure as you go that the symptoms aren't going further into the rib and away from the spine, but that if those symptoms start moving, like for example, you have symptoms in the spine and then you start feeling the ribs instead of the spine, that's a sign of peripheralization, that's a sign to stop. Centralization is if you feel symptoms in the rib and then you start feeling it maybe side of the spine, and over time then you find in the center of the spine centralization, and a sign to keep going. Evidence shows that this is the number one sign that you are moving in the right direction and things will get better quickly. The other thing is you want to look for just an overall change in the symptoms during the stretch and after a stretch. So we want to look out for green light, yellow light, red light. Green light is symptoms it improves as you go or improves afterwards. Yellow light is no change. You can keep going with the stretch, but watch out for it turning into a red light. Red light is things get worse as you do repetitions, or it's worse afterwards, or like we said, that peripheralization. So if you get a red light, you need to stop. If you push to it, things will most likely get worse. You can also try maybe just later on in the day if you get a red light and just try a little bit lighter, maybe with a little bit less pressure, see if you can turn into a yellow light or a green light with less pressure.